I know I stand in line until you think you have the time to spend an evening with me. And if we go someplace to dance, I'm sure that there's a chance you won't be leaving with me. And afterwards we'll stop into some quiet little place and have a drink or two. And then I'll go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like blah, 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 blah. Yes.
Right, how many people here watching tonight have ever been children? Children, oh, they'll be the death of me, I tell you. Just had a party round at our house for my daughter's 9th birthday. Oh, she fetched all her mates round, there were about 70 of them. We stood inviting the gremlins for a midnight snack. And they're blowing their nose on the curtains. Squelching custard in the carpet. Super gluing the cat to the stereo turntable. Turning it up to 78. My wife said, "Come on, Phil. I'm sure you can think of a good party game." I said, "I can. I'll go to the pub and you lot have got to guess what time I'm going to come back." Ah, kids. They're a bit too childish for my liking. Don't get me wrong. I hate them. It won't be long before they get to that vandalism stage. And some of the tricks they get up to these days. Like putting cling film on public lavatory bowls and knocking coppers' helmets off. The copper's head's still in them. You know, I've no room to talk. When I think of the tricks that I used to get up to as a kid. Remember the time when my mate had this huge, vicious German Doberman pincher that liked alcohol? He weaned it on drink as a pup, right? And one day we got it absolutely smashed out of its brains. Carried it onto Blackpool North Pier at the peak of holiday season. Plonked it down on the pier. And I'd hold it by the collar. My mate would go to the other end. And I'd whap all this shaving cream round its mouth. Great watching all the holiday makers diving over the rail. Brass band upside down in the sand. But when I was a kid, I think out of my birthday, Christmas and bonfire night, I think bonfire night was best. Raiding and pillaging other kids' bonfires and setting fire to what was left. I was a Viking for a fortnight. Kirk Douglas. Okay. Okay, you posh kids. That old mattress belongs to us now. Get that old chest of drawers out of here. Charge. And you know, even today, in and around where you live, you can always tell the prosperity of an area on bonfire night by just looking up at the skies. Lytham St. Anne's. Preston. There's not a lot come out of Preston. Yeah, 6. B6230. Preston's only claim to fame was having a contestant on Opportunity Knocks. Yeah, I remember it well, yeah. He registered a minus on the clapometer. But that's a show I never went on, that. To be honest, I didn't want to fall for old Huey Green's. Friends, if you want to vote for him, the name is Phil Cool. But if you can't remember the name, it doesn't matter because the poor bastard's not going to win anyway. It produced some good talent, though, did Opportunity Knocks. I remember a young poet who kept going on about if only she'd looked after her teeth. Hello. I'd like to recite a little poem from my poem book. Here's my poem book. P-airs. A lot of people think the P stands for pubic. It don't. It's Pamela. Right. Here goes. There was a young man from Garstad who had flowers growing out of his head. And when people got sick, he'd run round real quick and stand in a vase by their bed. Thank you. Thank you. But the trouble with being an impressionist is having someone who's very, very important in your repertoire suddenly die on you. Just when you spent years working on them. Take my Boris Karloff, for instance. Yes, he was coming along quite nicely. An absolute gas he was. Then, suddenly, he decides to become deceased. Some people just have no consideration.
Then there was my Henry Fonda. I've been working on him 6 months or so. Almost had him, too. Maybe if I'd have wobbled around a little more. Waggle my jaw. Lowered my shoulder some. Who knows? I guess it's too late now. Maybe he'd have lasted a little longer if he hadn't have started up on his daughter's goddamn aerobics program.
But honestly, no sooner do I get somebody off to a tee, it's curtains for him, it really is. People of America. Isn't it amazing what they can do with strings and wax these days? Do you remember the disease colon I had a while back? Well, it wasn't just a disease colon. No, during the operation, the Soviets infiltrated the theater and secretly implanted a large bugging device. Somebody must have told them that I talked through my ass. But another problem with being an impressionist is having so much to practice. I mean, I'm always practicing in the bathroom, right? The warmest room in the house. Got a nice mirror. Things are handy. But the thing is, you've got to do it out loud. You've got to spurt it out loud, right? And God knows what the neighbours must think when they hear all these weird noises coming through the wall.
Okay, mister. Turn around real slow. Unbuckle your gun belt. Drop your pants onto the floor. Nice and easy. Bend over and touch your toes. This is going to hurt you more than it hurts me.
Get it over with, you crazy varmint. You dirty double-crossing rattlesnake, you gone and branded me. Looks like we're cleaning out a Delsey toilet rolls, Lieutenant.
Okay, Mr. Spencer.
Looks like maybe you're gonna have to use the cardboard tube. And of course, you've got to slip the new ones in as well.
Good evening, I'm Griff Rhys-Jones. Mel and I have been asked to read out the nominees for the 1986 Academy Awards. Haven't we, Mel?
Yeah. They asked Paul Daniels, but he accidentally fell asleep under a sun lamp and melted.
Yes, little shit. Right, get the envelope out, Mel.
Oh, yeah, the envelope. The nominees for the 1986 Academy Awards are as follows. Charles Bronson for his performance in The Return of the Revenge of the Son of the Man in Death Wish 12. Revisited, Part 4, Strikes Back Even.
Okay, you mother suckers. Which one of you said I look like a gorilla? You know, I just reduced the homicide rate of New York by 90%. I moved to San Francisco.
Thank you, Charles Bronson. Thank you. The next nominee is Jim from Taxi for his amazing guest performance in Coronation Street.
Bert! Give me a packet of Mrs. Walker's crisps. Marijuana flavor.
Thank you, Jim. Sylvester Stallone for his dazzling performance in Mental American Mercenary in London.
Hey, why do I always look like I got a sneeze? Hey, I just got back from them. Tottenham.
Thank you, thank you. And finally, last and least, Burt Lancaster for his wonderful performance in the new Carry On film, Carry On Moses, the Lawgiver.
And the good Lord God in heaven took his children out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of bondage, out into the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights. Give or take a couple of days either way. Maybe a week, who knows? And then my brother Aaron came to me filled with anger. And he said unto me,
Oh, excuse me, Major.
I don't want to be rude, but the children of Israel have asked me to tell you to stop messing the bears down, making them knock all over. Thank you, thank you. And now the winner. Yes, I've got the envelope somewhere. Always the most exciting moment. I always think this, don't you? Reading out the winner. Right, the winner for the 1986 Academy Awards is... Richard Phil Cool must be doing an impersonation of me. This always happens when he starts taking someone off. Goodbye, Mel. God, where are you? God, where are you? God, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. You're going to like this, but not a lot. So, Paul's a little shit, is he?
Help, help, help.
No use shouting for help, old son. Doris Stokes can't hear you. Listen, you are going back to Earth. But as a lower form of life. A much lower form of life. Abracazam.
What's he talking about? Lower form. What's happening to me? What's happening? I can feel a new expression coming on my face. My voice is changing. My hands, what's happening to my hands?
Roll out the barrel, let's have a barrel fun. Roll out the barrel.
Hello. People keep asking me if I do women. Not really, no, they're so difficult. Although I do a passable Victoria Ward. But only sometimes, like, because it's a bit iffy. But it's a lot better than me Julia Walters. Wrote a song this morning, in between eating. Hope you like it. Well, I don't like chauvinistic pigs. I kick 'em in the crotch. I can handle myself nicely, thank you very much. Well, Darwin had a theory, they're all men come from apes. Well, I think most of them still are, and that's not so great. Honest, it really, really isn't. I've often wondered what it would be like to be a woman. One day, women will be the dominant sex. It's already started at our house. know, when they do become dominant, I won't complain, no. I'll be quite content being the passive wimp and be dominated by people like Claire Rayner.
Let me put a pillow under your back, lovey. Headache gone, lovey. Is that better, lovey? Oh, brace yourself, lovey. Bite onto this copy of Playgirl.
Wait a minute, Claire. I think you heard a noise downstairs. Can you go and see what it is?
Relax, lovey. It's nothing, lovey. There are no burglars in here. Just you and me, lovey.
Oh, be gentle with me, Claire.
Don't worry, lovey. This is going to be the best experience of your life. Oh, wasn't it? Now, you've got problems, haven't you, lovey? What are your problems? Tell me your problems, lovey.
Well, Claire, I'm married to a 39-year-old woman that likes dressing up as a 10-year-old schoolboy.
She sounds a little cranky to me, lovey.
And I suppose the alternative to being a wimp is to be God's gift to women. You've seen him, he'll be an average, what, 25, 26 IQ. Frilly chest. Big love bite just above the collar. Put it on himself with a vacuum cleaner.
Hey, I know how to treat women rough. I wine them, I dine them. I buy them chocolates, flowers, jewelry. I give them my car, give them my house. And then I dump them.
Chatting up the opposite sex can be difficult at the best of times, and particularly difficult for me because I'm such an impulsive sort of an impressionist. I've often got to that Cointreau stage of the evening. And she says to me with those big, sexy, come-to-bed eyes, "Thanks for the meal, Philip. Lovely wine. Back to my place."
If you say so, Esperanza.
You know, Quasimodo has always been one of my favourite characters. So I did a bit of research on him. Turns out he wasn't just a bell ringer after all. In his spare time, he was an Avon lady.
Avon calling.
Excuse me, madam. Could I interest you in our new line in lipsticks? They're specially contoured for every conceivable shape of mouth. But just a word of warning. Our new acne cream has had to be withdrawn from the market. It has strange side effects. I used it myself, and it removed all the spots from my face to form one great big one. Oh.
I suppose every occupation has its hazards. My occupational hazard over the years has been smoking. Passive smoking. Breathing in second-hand cigarette fumes in nightclubs. I wish people would stop, I really do. Just because they decided to turn their own lungs into a couple of kippers, I've got to have mine cured as well. But just try asking people to stop and listen to the excuses they come up with.
Stop smoking. My brother never smoked. And what good did it do him? He went to Japan for his holidays. Got crushed by a car. Volkswagen fell on him. Listen, if your name's in that book... if your name's in that... if your name's in that book up there, you're gonna go whether you smoke or not. Stop smoking. Never.
It's the one pleasure I've got left in life.
You'll never beat the tobacco companies. They've got you by the lungs. And they've got too much of your money to spend on this arty-farty advertising. And you get thousands of people all genuinely trying to kick the habit until one night they look up at the moon and there it is. Gone. Replaced by that golden box of 20 Benson & Hedges. And they're so shocked they've got to rush out and buy another packet to calm their nerves. But there's no question that this sort of advertising works. Even the breweries are following suit. You can walk into a pub these days and see a fella impaled to the floor with arrows fired by cider-guzzling psychopaths. He's been trampled to death by some cretinous bear in a trilby hat. He's covered in vomit, thrown up by Australians, smashed out of the skulls on 4X wallaby pedal. And you think, I bet he drinks Carling Black Label. And what is it about drinking late at night that creates this irresistible sensual desire to stick your face into a chicken vindaloo pillow rice and 2 pompadons? At midnight in Indian restaurants, it looks like everybody's doing their A-levels. The evils of drink, eh? You know, the Catholic Church is so worried about the booze problem they're going to start their own national TV advertising campaign. In et Filii Sancti, in et Spiritus... Oh, hello. I am not an actor. I am a real pope. Manager of the church that likes to say no. So, for all the faithful who want to enjoy themselves but prefer to stay sober, Vatican, the non-alcoholic wine. It's great, man. And if you think tobacco and alcohol is difficult to sell, what about contraception? You know, I can't wait for the day when Nanette Newman steps out of a back door onto a lawn and walks in between two rows of guardsmen standing to attention. And instead of pulling out the old washing up liquid bottle, she whips out this reusable condom and says, "With this one special protective, I can get through all these." I've got this phobia. Anything connected with adverts, I'm scared of. I don't even go on the Wogan show. I'm afraid he might touch my knee and turn me into a flora man.
Hello. I suppose you're all wondering who my first guest is going to be. Well, whoever it is, he's going to have to wait. Because old Tell likes standing here a while, wibble-wobbling his little head around. And going up and down on the old tippy toes. A quick shufty from side to side. And that little wry smile to the people at home. And we're ready. Well, who is my first guest? We were going to have Sir Bob Geldof, no less. But he was out taking a walk this morning, and he got knocked down by a speedboat. Well, the BBC know that I'm the only one that I'm genuinely interested in. So, I'm going to interview myself. How are you, Tell? I'm fine, Terry. How's your good self? Any interesting guests lately? I wouldn't know. I never let him talk long enough to find out. Well, come on. Tell us about yourself. Where are you from? Well, a lot of people think I'm from Dublin, but I'm not. In fact, I'm not an Irishman at all. Go on, you old rascal. Who are you, then? Actually, I'm a creature from outer space. From a distant planet in the Alpha Centauri star system, would you believe? A bit like the old lizards in the V series. I don't think the people over here believe you, Terry. They don't. Well, old pal has shown. Hang on a mo, while I manifest into my true form. Shed the old skin, so to speak. I mean, that put the old willies up here for a minute there.
You know, I've been quite busy since I've been on television a couple of times. I've had all the usual inquiries from the advertising people. They wanted me to do everything from Roundtree fruit pastels. to Humphrey Bogart doing fragrant moisturised cleansing tissues.
Forgive me for saying so, miss, but have you just dropped a wet one?
And I've had a lot of strange gigs as well. Probably the strangest one of the lot started with a phone call from my agent. I accepted the charge.
He says, Phil, you're going to Derby.
I said, oh, that's handy, just up the road from Stoke-on-Trent.
Abu Dhabi. Be at Heathrow, Boxing Day, 2 o'clock.
Boxing Day? This was Christmas Eve. Oh, the thing was, he said, my old guitar case had disintegrated, right? But luckily, my cousin came round for a quick Christmas drink, and he's an undertaker, right? Kenyans of Charlie. There's a sale starts Monday. Anyway, I told him about the guitar case problem, and next thing he rushes out to the hearse. Comes back with his little coffin. Made it for a dwarf, he says. You don't need it now since he's come back from Lourdes. Go on, you can have it. He said, put a couple of hinges on the lid, just be the job. Just right, get your guitar in, fit your props in the lot. Bit macabre, perhaps, but go on, it's yours. Anyway, Boxing Day arrives, sets off in the car, coffin on the back seat. Stops at the traffic lights. A motorbike cop. Chips. A big one on each shoulder. Suddenly pulls up alongside of me. This is his brain ticking over, right?
Bloody criminals. Never around when you want one.
Suddenly he clocks a coffin on the back seat. He's banging on the window. Winds the window down.
Right. Where are you going with that little coffin?
Isn't it obvious? I'm a paedophile on my way to a necrophiliacs convention.
I'm sorry, I do beg your pardon, sir. Allow me to escort you to the next junction.
Anyway, eventually gets to Heathrow Airport, right? And I make my way over to the ticket office, humping this great coffin. I get there, right? There's a few people waiting for tickets, so dumps the coffin at the end of the queue. Sits on it. Sat there a couple of minutes. Airport security comes wandering up, doesn't he?
Yours, is it?
Not exactly, no. The ventriloquist had just gone for a cup of tea. And I just come out for a bit of fresh air, like. But then again, you being airport security, you'd know all about dongies, wouldn't you, like? Move along, smart ass. Anyway, the next thing you know, I'm in Abu Dhabi Airport, right? And the customs officer is insisting that I open up the old coffin. And he stood there with his long flowing robes on, epaulets, peaked fez.
Open sesame.
He's all that. Anyway, he opens it up for him. First thing he pulls out is my Mick Jagger wig. I says, oh yes, that is my Mick Jagger wig. You know, Mick Jagger. Come here, look. He's got long hair like this, right? And he's got big lips. And they sort of stick out like that. And he's sort of like licking them all the time. And he's sort of a really diaper-looking cat that likes jumping about and freaking out and stuff. You know? I was there for hours trying to explain it all away. And if that wasn't bad enough, when I get to the hotel, 5-star hotel, mind you, find a toenail in bed, still attached to an 18-year-old Filipino girl. I asked her to leave, but she couldn't understand English. So I had to try explaining the situation in mime. Right, you, beautiful Filipino girl, but me, very happily married, 5 children, and her father, very strong. The room screaming her head off. And you know, Abu Dhabi is a strict Muslim country, right? And one of the strange facts about the place is that whenever they build anything, right, hotels, houses, whatever, they're always constructed in such a way that all the toilets are always facing north to south, so that not one Muslim bum faces Mecca. It's considered blasphemous to Allah. Right? But what they don't realise is that the fact that they are facing away from Mecca means that millions of Muslim bums are facing Rome instead. Which probably explains the Pope's distinctive expression. When I eventually got to the gig, well, I was amazed at all the Muslims standing around the bar drinking. I thought it was against their religion, but there they were. Dozens of them guzzling pints of lager. Probably flying carpet fitters on the way home from work. Having a swift jar. And of course, most Muslims don't drink. It's just the isolated minority. I mean, they've got more sense. Alcohol destroys brain cells rapidly. Yeah. Politicians drink a lot. And make statements like, those were the days when I was Home Sweet Home Secretary. If only I knew now what I knew then. But fortunately, I don't drink as much as I used to. No. I used to be one of those wallies that goes on a wild bender, down in vodkas and whiskies and beer and Burno. And eventually gangle in the house, having spent the last half an hour trying to flush a telephone box. And then my little old mum, God bless her, she put the old Max Bargraves LP on the... Turn it up full blast. And all the room would start spinning round to this. When it's spring again, I'll bring again tulips from Amsterdam. Like the windmill keeps on turning, my heart keeps on... Well, you've got to admit it's much more hygienic than sticking your finger down your throat, haven't you? Wink as well this week. Takes you to Yates's Wine Lounge. An Alky's paradise. Here at Yates's Brothers, where the Amoroso sherry doesn't get you, the Bristol cream will. Here at Yates's Wine Lodge, just about as far as you can get from the lifestyle of California. And unlike California, here at Yates's Brothers, there's no need for such luxurious plastic surgery, because everybody's ugly. Have you ever been into a Yates's Wine Lodge at all? No? It's a great place. Oh, what? Yeah, you must go in. Probably the best time to go in is just before closing time on a Saturday night. And there's been a good spillage of Australian wine over the evening. And it's built up to a quarter of an inch thick of tacky, syrupy goo. Which is great for the customers because they can all lean further before they fall. Alcoholism is a social disease that's always more acceptable in show business. Let's face it, if you're an alky in any other business, you're a drunken bum. If you want in show business, it's all right because you're a hellraiser. Like Oliver Reed. Good old Ollie. He's calmed down a lot now, you know, since he's got married. He's more interested in domestic pursuits like stripping paint. And the list of hellraisers is endless. I mean, you've got your Trevor Howards and your Richard Harris and your Dennis Thatcher. You know, I once saw a documentary about Richard Burton. Now, he could drink. Could he shift some stuff? Oh, it was 50 years before he had his first hangover. I knew it was a bloody good one when it came. And he said he hated theatre audiences. Perhaps this is why he drank so much, I don't know. But if he thought theatre crowds were bad, he would have had a hell of a job coping with all the abuse that you get thrown at you in some of these bingo worshipping working men's clubs. Right? Get off, you pillock! You're going down like Bobby Crush on an oil rig.
Hey, Frank, what's his name? What? Richard what? Richard Burton? That's a name to remember. Well, remember not to book him again. We don't know what the hell you're yakking on about, pal. Get off!
I am feeding caviar to pigs. This vintage wine that should be savored, going down in swigs. For this is yet another of those nauseating gigs where I am feeding caviar to pigs. My first joke, not a titter, not the flicker of a smile. My next line, so inventive, you missed it by a mile. I'm feeding caviar to pigs. It's stifling my style. But never mind, you all can play your bingo in a while. I am feeding caviar to pigs. A Rembrandt in a junk shop, unrecognized by every Tom, Dick, and Harry, breathing in the smoke from all the cigs. Here, feeding caviar to pigs. Granted, there were times when I would pander to the demands of light relief. But Shakespeare wrote for king and peasant, vagabond and thief. A horse! A horse! My kingdom for horse, Mr. Grimsdale. You should see your faces. Shame. Shame on me. And shame on you. To laugh at such blasphemy of immortal words and rhyme that echo through the auditoriums of time. You drained the lifeblood from me and left a whiter shade of stale. I suppose next you'll expect me to impersonate Rick Mail. Come on, give the boring old Shakespearean thought a chance. Is that what you're gonna have to do, look? Isn't it, everybody? To me? Or not to me? A question. Whether it is never in the mind to suffer the slings that others of outrageous fortune. O'Neill's lentil and chickpea stew.
Hey, come on, it's not that bad, Rick. Hey.
Ah! Stop. These wretched TV images, like Banquo's ghost, appear to haunt my each and every word and action held.
Sir dear. And what have the BBC given us? Have they given us Shakespeare? Oh, all right, then they're giving us Shakespeare.
There's more. Come here. There's that brochure to the back. Come here.
God! What am I doing?
Shut up. You bloody stupid people. Stools you are! Oh, such stool if ever I saw one! Shut up! festering in the bowels of incompetence. Oh, yes. How Macbeth was right. Out, out, brief candle. Life is but a walking shadow. A poor player who struts and frets his out upon the stage, and then is heard no more.
And I always used to get asked to do the private function, right? Like Clitheroe Pigeon Fancier's annual dinner dance. The place was full of little old pigeon-chested pigeon fanciers. Sat pigeon-toed. Big basket full of pigeons. Flat caps drawing on woodbine. Brooding over the pigeon trophies. Well, I came on and they all went, "Look at the feel cool! Look at the feel cool! And then there was the horror of the nightclubs. I worked at one called Quaffers. A nightmare of a gig. I was greeted by the DJ at the door. He said, "Come this way, Mr. Cool. Come on, I'll show you your dressing room before the punters arrive." And I'm walking through this dimly lit club, and I look round. It's a huge 2,000-seater. Anyway, this guy disappears through this mirror door and starts going down this spiral staircase, so I follows him. Down, down, deeper and down, down and down, 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 deeper and down, down and down. Music popping, gets to the bottom. Over here, Mr. Cool. That door over there, that's your dressing room. But the main thing that you've got to remember is this big wooden area here. This is your rising stage. Now, you'll know when you're on, because it'll start coming up. So, at 11 o'clock, be ready and waiting on it. 20 seconds to 11. I'm stood there, guitar around my neck, knees knocking, trying to look cool. And I found out later what actually happens. The DJ presses a button from behind his pulpit. And you can hear these motors start up. And you can feel the vibration through your legs. And you start coming up slowly. And the dance floor above starts opening up. And £100,000 worth of disco lighting starts flashing on and off. And get this is the best bit, right? The Thunderbirds theme tune starts playing. 200 decibels, really dramatic. You are familiar with Thunderbirds, aren't you? I always thought it was a great series. Acting was a bit wooden, perhaps. Lady Penelope and Parker. Get the rails out, Parker.
Right, me lady. Would you like go to Virginia? Or Old Holborn, me lady?
Anyway, that's beside the point, man. I'm coming up. And the head starts appearing above the floor. And the drive belts must have been knackered because it was going. I thought it was going to be quarter of an hour before they get to my knees. And it finally took hold again. Building up to a crescendo, right? DJ comes on. Ladies and gentlemen, the man you've all been waiting for, the fabulous Phil Cool. Dun, 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 dun. Dum, dum, dun, dun, boom, 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 boom. Kettle drums, boom, 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 boom. Dun, 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 dun. Boom. I looked round, there's 12 in. 13 if you counted the coach driver. All on a mystery tour from a hospice. And of course there was the odd couple dotted about the place. And they're into chicken in the basket. They finished the chicken. They were just starting on the basket. How the hell somebody's supposed to laugh with a gob full of raffia? I'll never know. Well, I couldn't do my normal routine. And that night I'd seen a slick American comic on telly. I thought I'll be like him and deliver a stunning one-liner. Hi. Hey. Flatulence will get you nowhere. Unless you're using it for fuel, that is. Come on out from underneath that mushroom. Because tonight, Ronnie Corbett, the Socialite. Not a titter. I thought, oh, what the hell am I going to do? I know. I'll hit him with something visual. I'll do me aquamphibian. You know, from Stingray. Surely you remember Stingray. Come on. Well, the aquamphibians lived at the bottom of the sea. Right scaly little buggers they were. So I thought, I'll slip into one quick. Now I've got bad circulation, you know. And sometimes I get this facial cramp, honestly. And this turned out to be sometimes. Yeah, you guessed it, the bastard stuck. I can see the bar staff. Standing at the back of the room, at the back of the bar there. And the bouncers are going... and the manager's going... and I'm going... Suddenly the manager signals the DJ.
It's decidedly average to be here. Did you know? There's more than 12 different ways of scratching your bum. I was telling Lord Snowden the other night at a charity ball for destitute Sloane Rangers. You know, some of these poor devils are down to the last BMW. So I turns to Lord Snowden, I says, Snozzy, you're eating beluga caviar, so you should be drinking 76 Chablis, not Mouton Rothschild 45. He says, come on, Bill. How am I supposed to know that? I haven't had your experience of 12 years on the Clyde dockyards. So I was about to drown the sarcastic bastard in a punch bowl when a photographer started flashing. No photographs! No photographs, please. I don't want my photo taken. Please! No photos! No photographs, please! I do not want my photograph taken. When suddenly, my attention was drawn to a strange wee four-eyed guy from Lancashire. He was sort of hairy like me, but kind of different like, you know. He had no wee pointed beard like this. So that's got to go. He had very similar sideburns, but these wee pair of round glasses on. But he had no long hair like this, but a sort of a wee stumpy neck that kind of went right down into his shoulder. I hope it's Mrs. Harding's kid. Well, my granny's in the coal shed, shoveling nutty slack. Grandad's waiting for his racing pigeons coming back. Oh, and our kid's in the kitchen, cooking cowheel stew. And I'm in a bloody great mansion house with bugger all to do. I hope you buggers. I
Oh, no, the face of comedy has changed a hell of a lot over the last 5 years. From Connolly and Harding to the more outrageous, violent, alternative comics.
Violence? Violence? What violence, Philip? This isn't violence. I mean, this is surrealistic comedy culture. I just hope you're watching this, Melvin Bragg. You are a complete, utter... I'm completely mad. Set my hair on fire. See if I care. I'm completely nutty. Absolutely crazy. I even eat my own earwax. And it really annoys my parents. And if that's not bad taste, I jolly well don't know what is. Oh dear me, I seem to have run dry after 28 years.
Stop that, young Rick, and listen to your Uncle Alexa. You've been alternative long enough. Don't you think it's about time you settle down into a nice mainstream slot on ITV, like that nice Jimmy Tarbuck, earning £3 million a second and advertising microwave incinerators? You'd better be sharp. And it's not only the alternatives bringing the changes. I mean, we've got the influx of the top American comics to our shores. Free people of the West. Or is it four? Search me. Well, I'm over here on one of those special Club Med 1830 holidays. And that's the year you have to be born in before you can go on one. Well, I must say your United England is an absolute paradise for tourists. Well, only this morning, I was watching the changing of the guards at Euston. Just loved those greasy blue uniforms. Well, people of America, what can I say? Get yourselves to the U of K. Was that okay, Maggie? And I wonder what our most prominent comedians will be doing in, say, 15 years' time. You see, a comic spends all his time and effort learning and honing the subtle art of comedy to prepare himself for the ultimate demands on his perfected talents. The quiz show host.
But you can't blame him, because it's big money. Big money. And not only that...
He's a good guy, boy, lads. Good guy. Good wig. Higher, lower. Good wig.
Knickers, knackers, knockers. Do you know, I can't for the life of me understand why we always give our blankety-blank contestants a checkbook and a pen when they're all totally illiterate. They'd be a lot happier with a big lump of Play-Doh. Or a Tom O'Connor mask.
Right, Doris. Right, Doris, for £100. Name that tune in none. Right, Tony, you've done well on Bullseye tonight. You've done well. You've done really well. You've got £25. No, we can't take that off you. That's yours. That's safe. But you still want double tops for the washing machine. Right, off you go, Tony. Good luck. Smashing. That round thing's the board over there, Tony. Let's see more educational programmes on TV. That's what I say. Let's learn more about each other. You know, Desmond Morris reckons that we all subconsciously respond to body language. Now, we all know what this means. It means I've accidentally stuck my hand in the blender. And this? This is a primeval attack warning. Which is pretty strange, really, because it's always accompanied by this. I'm gonna kill you. And some people, well, they just really go way over the top with body language. Like me, for instance, David Bellamy. Here I am in Papua New Guinea. These jungle noises really give me the heebie-jeebies. I'm just going to have to stop making them. And some people, well, they just haven't got body movement at all.
Like me, for instance. Donald Pleasant. You see, I've got those stark, staring eyes. So I can star in scary roles. In those strange, sophisticated films. And as you've noticed, I'm always scripted with 6 or 7 S's in every sentence. So much so, I sometimes spit more than Roy Hattersley.
Complete nonsense. No one spits more than me. I'm known as a human fire extinguisher. And when I start in the Labour Party manifesto, well, I make a very effective garden sprinkler.
Yeah. I suppose we would have more time for educational programmes if it wasn't for all these quiz games and soaps.
And the chat show as well. Have you seen the stand-ins that Wogan has when he's on his holidays? Mogadon. Come on, a chat show host needs bags of energy and a bit of street credibility. Wait a minute. This sounds like a job for...
Katanga, my friend. Welcome to the Lenny Wogan Show. And my first guest tonight is Willie Whitelaw. Say, Katanga.
Katanga. But you see, Mr. Henry, I can't talk to you tonight because I'm far too busy digesting a 400-course Jacobean banquet. And I could quite categorically state that these great jowls dangling below a number of double chins is absolutely wonderful. And I could quite unashamedly say without question of a doubt that these great layers of fat on off a lot of plate is absolute tripe. And furthermore, wait a minute. What's this? Oh, by George. I just discovered a 2.5-pound chunk of venison in between my molars. And it's absolutely delicious. And I'm not sharing it with you, Lenny, what's his name, Katanga.
Okay, I go to you instead. Bob Geldof. How was it with you, you old boomtown rat?
Well, Lenny. Oh, Katanga, by the way. Just hang on a minute while I unsmarten myself up. Hang on a minute while I make myself a bit more unpresentable. Well, as you can imagine, Lenny, I feel crap. Totally shattered. I've been tramping through the desert for 200 miles. Things are okay, I suppose, but I'm still having trouble with the trucking fleet.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend. And now, over to our outside broadcast in Yorkshire. King Arthur Scargill take no hassle from his home in Barnsley Castle. Can you hear me, Arthur?
Hear ya? Hear ya? No. But if I said I could, you wouldn't believe me. And that would be true, so I'm not going to. And yet if I said I couldn't, you would believe me, and that wouldn't be true. So I'm not going to say I can when I can't, or I shall when I shan't, or I do when I don't, or I will when I won't. So the answer is quite simply this. Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
And now, my friends, my last guest is someone who needs absolutely no introduction. Wait a while I go and prepare the stage for him. When one is bringing an easel to the middle of the stage, say Katanga, my friend. Well, that is good night from me. But now I leave you in the capable hands of the one they call the Master.
Dim, 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 dim. Dim, 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 dim. Oh, spy for Spillabong has about a cooler bar, big fat koala virtue and eucalyptus leaves. Never made a good film, pommies in a tucker bag, toss it in the belly can. Give Boney to a dingo. But you know, I first started painting when I was a littlie. Halfway up the skirting board and, yeah, and halfway up the door and stuff. But I've always wanted to paint a masterpiece like Leonard da Vinci, with a cobble with one ear missing. But this Splodunge is just about as near as I'm gonna get. Oh, if a picture paints 1,000 words, then why can't I paint you? The words will never show the you. I come to know. Then one by one, the stars would all go out. Then you and I would simply fade away. Can you tell what it is yet?